sections, we're going to be building our very own Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. We're going to start out with just a completely blank worksheet, and we're going to build up a monthly budget spreadsheet. We're going to start out just simple, take it step by step. We're going to do things like enter labels, like our column and our row labels. We're going to enter some numeric values in there representing our dollar amounts, our currency values, the hard-earned money that we're spending each and every month on all of our bills. We'll talk about building calculations so we get things like totals for each month or each bill. But I'll talk about some other types of calculations as well. And we're going to do some formatting. We're going to make it look super awesome. But we're going to start from complete scratch. So our first step, we've got to open up a new Excel document, and we're going to start to put some labels or headers into our spreadsheet. So here we go. So I'm back into the Excel interface, and I'm looking at the new section of the Backstage view or of the File tab. So now inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and grab Blank Workbook, and I'll give that a double click. All right, here we are. We've done this once before. We've opened up a new blank Excel document, and here we are. Now, I'm on Office 365. I subscribe to the monthly subscription through Microsoft to get access to the Office applications, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and so on. Now, occasionally, and I just really want to give you a heads up, if you're also a part of the Office 365 subscription, whether you get that through a personal edition or something through work, Microsoft likes to push out updates. Now, as of this recording, it is February of 2019. This is our current release of Microsoft Excel. Now, when you open it up, your interface might look a little bit different because Microsoft pushes out updates. So nothing big. I've been teaching Excel for years now, and I teach it virtually exactly the same way. I've been teaching it ever since the early editions of Microsoft Excel. 2000, back in 95. Excel's been Excel for years. Of course, Microsoft has introduced new features and whatnot, and we'll get into those new features. And I want to talk about all the bells and whistles that Microsoft adds to additional versions, but it's still underlying, it's still Excel. Now, once again, if you are on the Office 365, you may occasionally, when you first launch up Excel, you may get a yellow bar at the top of your screen saying, hey, Microsoft's got some updates ready for you. Do you want to go ahead and update? And they'll give you a button right there to build updates. I'm not getting it right now. We may see it at some point within this course as I close and I reopen Excel, and Microsoft may be pushing out updates, but just keep an eye on that inside of your own interface. Updates are great. Microsoft is fixing things, creating new features for you. It's huge. So, all right, here we are. So typically we start out inside of cell A1 within our new worksheet, and there inside of A1, what better place to put a title? So I'm going to go ahead and put a title here. I'll call this monthly budget. This is going to be our monthly budget spreadsheet. And again, I'm just inside of column A, row 1, type that value in. I'm going to hit my enter key on my keyboard. That'll hop me out of that cell. All right, so there's my title. We'll worry about making that fancy looking colors and bold and all that stuff. We'll do that later on. For now, we're just going to put some labels in there and start to build the basic structure of our spreadsheet. So I'm going to drop down into cell A3, and I'm going to create a column here that's going to act as the labels for all of the bills that I have for each of the months. So first thing I'm going to put in here is just a nice header. We'll just call it bills. I'm going to hit my enter key to drop down a cell again, and now I'm going to create a list, nice little column here, of various bills that I have for each month. Now, you can copy me exactly if you like to. Hopefully you're following along with me. Right? You can copy the exact same stuff if you like. But I want to encourage you. One of the best ways to learn something new is not only participate in a course like this and to learn, but to put it to practice. So the sooner that you can start to put this into your own real world scenarios, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so think about, what bills do you have, right? So here, I'm just going to make some stuff up. I'm going to say we got rent, we got phone, we got credit cards, make sure I spell that right, credit card. Hit my enter key, drop down again. Let's say we got food, and let's do one more here. I'm going to say candy. Gotta have candy, right? Each and every month you got your bill for your candy. All right, I'm going to hit my enter key. I'll drop down. Now, that's good. I'm going to call it good right there. Of course, I've got more inside there. Maybe we want to put car in there. You got electricity. You got gas. You got garbage and water. You got this, that, and the other thing, right? Whatever bills you have, right? Let's go ahead and create a list there. And eventually, we're going to start to put in the values for each of the months that we're spending on these various bills. Start to make you feel kind of bad where all your money's going, right? Hopefully it's going to candy though, right? All right, down below that, again, I'm just going to stop it there. I'm going to put in a total. Eventually, we're going to have a row here, right here, that's going to give us some totals for the various months that we'll have for each of our bills. All right, so these are our row headers, our row labels. Let's go ahead and continue building the structure. I'm going to jump up into cell B3. I'm just clicking up there, and I'm going to put some labels up here for each of the months. So as of recording right now, it is February of 2019, but I'm going to go ahead and start this out at January. So I'm just going to type in Jan. If you want to type out January, feel free. You can do that as well. I have a couple of Achilles heels of my own as far as spelling is concerned. My spelling is horrible. My kids come home from school and ask me how to spell something. I open up Word, Microsoft Word, and I type it in there. Spell checker, right? It's awesome. So January, February, right? I can never remember how to spell those two. So I'm just going to abbreviate. I'll say Jan. I'm going to hit my Tab key just to hop over to the right one cell. I'll type in Feb, Tab, and I'll type in March. I'm going to hit Tab key one more time. I'm going to stop right there for the months. Keep it really simple. If you'd like, you can continue going, right? The more practice you get, the better. You can go to April, May, June, July. You can do whatever you like, you want to inside of there. You can start at whatever month you want. Again, up to you. But I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to put another total label. Remember, we've got this one. We got this guy down here. Let's hit my enter key, hop out of there. We got that one right there because eventually we're going to have some a row total here for each column. But then I'm going to have one here because I want to do totals for each of the bills as well. So this right here, this is kind of the basic structure of a spreadsheet. You've got row labels, in this case bills. You got column labels representing some type of date. Now, there's our basic structure, our labels, and these are just text values. So if you're not following along with me step by step right now, go ahead and pause the video, start to create the basic structure, the labels of your Excel monthly budget. So get that part done, pause the video if you need to. Once you're done, jump back in. Our next lecture, we're going to start to talk about entering numeric values and putting some currency amounts inside of these months for these bills. So get that done. We'll jump into the next section. So our next step in creating this Excel spreadsheet is to enter some numeric values, some currency amounts for the amounts that we're spending for each bill across all the months. So in the prior video, we took a look at entering alpha values or text values, right? We got those as our labels. Now here, inside of this section, in my case, from cell B4, right below January, inside rent, from B4 down to D8, I want to put my dollar amounts inside of there. So I'm going to jump up into cell B4, and I'm going to make some stuff up here. Feel free, you can copy exactly what I got, or if you're putting your own bills in there, you're creating your own monthly budget, feel free to put your own amounts, whatever you like to do. The quicker you can put it into real world practice, the better off, right? All right, so inside of B4, I'm going to say 1,000. 1,000. I'll hit my enter key, draw me down into January for phone. And for phone, let's say it's $100. Credit cards, let's say it's $150. Food, gotta have food, right? $300. Candy, let's say candy is gonna be $100 each month. All right, I'm gonna jump up. I'm just using my arrow keys here to move me around within this spreadsheet. I'm gonna jump up into C4. Now I'm back to rent, but now for the month of February. Let's say rent doesn't change, so it's now 1,000. I'm going to drop down a cell, hit my enter key. Phone, maybe this month I went over on data, so I got 125. Credit cards, pay those off a little faster, let's say 200. Food, maybe food went down, it is a 275. Candy, $100. All right, back up. Now I'm inside of March. Okay, as I'm recording right now, it is February of 2019, but I'm going to fill this thing out completely, right, just to give us some more data to work with. So let's say rent still 1,000. 1, 2, 3. Phone went back down to 100. Credit cards back to, let's say, let's make this up different. 175. Food went to 350. Candy went up. Gotta have candy, man. Gotta have candy. 125. All right, that's looking pretty good. So now we've got our labels, right? All these guys right here are labels for our spreadsheet. And we've got our dollar amounts, our currency values representing the amount that we're spending for each bill for each of these months. Now, there's something I want to point out here. This is something small, but it's actually pretty big. Okay? There's a difference between the text values, these guys that we entered in, and the numeric values that we just input. Like I said, it's going to be actually something kind of small, but it can make a big impact inside of your spreadsheet and inside your work, especially when you start getting into calculations. All right, so take a look at them. Compare these labels right here with the dollar amounts, the numeric values that you just input below those headers. You see it? Something different about those two. I know one's numeric and one's text, one's alpha, but there's even something else different between the two, right? Well, look at the months. The months, these are left aligned. So it deals with their formatting. By default, text values come in left aligned on the cell. You see it? Numeric values, on the other hand, come in right aligned. These are all on the right-hand side of the cell, right? Look at all those. Draw arrows. Right? Left aligned for text, right aligned for numbers. Now, why does this happen? And this happens not just in Excel, it's not specific to Excel, but this happens in lots of different applications, a majority of them, in fact. Well, it happens for a couple of reasons. One, it's cleaner. You'll see the difference between the two. I know that this is text because it's left aligned, this is numeric because it's right aligned. That's its default behavior. If we start introducing decimal places inside of our numeric values, those decimals will be nice and aligned. Let me show you. Let's say I get into B4. We got rent there for 1,000. I'm going to double click inside of that cell, and I'm going to say 0.55. Our rent is $1,000.55. I don't know where that 55 cents is going to, but there it is. I'm going to hit my enter key. I'm going to drop down the phone and we'll say this is $100.25. Hit my enter key. Now, because the numbers are right aligned, that decimal is nice and clean, right? Nice line going down through our numeric values. Nice and clean. If they were left aligned, that would be all over the place. Let me just grab those two cells. I'm going to go to my Home tab. Underneath my Home tab, I've got an alignment section, and I'm going to tell them to be left aligned. And you're going to see our decimal place kind of go like this, kind of do the wave. So let me hit the left align button there, and there's our decimals, still numeric, right? But if we look at that now, that decimal is no longer straight. It's no longer clean. If I had more decimals, I think it'd be doing the wave all the way down, right? Just want to look very clean. So let me undo that. I'm going to Control Z on my keyboard. Love that undo. Right there, Control Z, Z like zebra. All right, I don't want the decimal, so I'm going to keep hitting Control Z. Let's get back to just 1,000 and 100. All right, so there's one reason. Okay? It's cleaner. It distinguishes itself between that data and the data below. Looks nice and clean. Now, if you ever import data or copy-paste data from some other system, whatever it is, into an Excel document, and you see your numeric values are actually left aligned, so they look like this, all over here on the left-hand side, typically you will then get a little green, let's change my color here to say green. You get a little green kind of triangle looking thing inside the corner of that cell. And you'll get that across all of them. If you ever see that, or if you've ever seen that, some of you maybe seen that before, that means Excel is looking at that and saying, hey, something's wrong. There's something wrong with those values. And typically, when you see your numbers left aligned, Excel is treating those values as text. They're not being treated as numbers. So what can you do? Well, if that happens to you, you can click into one of those cells. You get that little triangle in the corner. You get a little box. And when you click the box, it'll come up with some options. And one of them will be convert to numbers. And you do it right there. And it'll right align them, put them back to where they belong, and you're good to go. All right. So I just want to point that out. Again, it's something small, just a difference between how they're aligned, but it can be a much larger impact. Decimals, nice and aligned, right? We don't want that wave going through our document. And it can potentially screw up some formulas. When you're trying to do mathematical type operators, we don't want to work with text. We want to work with numbers. All right. And if it ever happens to you, it's a quick fix. You click on the little box that shows up next to that green triangle. I don't have it on my screen right now, but maybe we'll see it at some point, and you can just convert it to number. All right. So get these in there. Really simple. Got our labels, got our numbers in there. We'll call it good. Get those in there. Then we'll jump to the next lecture, and we'll start to expand some more inside of this Excel spreadsheet. So we've talked about two different types of data that you can input into an Excel document. There's actually a few more. And I want to talk just a little bit about one of the other types of data that you're going to be inputting into an Excel spreadsheet. We've talked about alpha characters. That's our labels, right? Bills. We got our months along the top. We've talked about numeric values. All of these dollar amounts here eventually be formatted as currency that we now input into our Excel spreadsheet. Now, another type of data that you're going to be working with inside of Excel are dates. So let's talk a little bit about dates. We've got some months. I mean, that's a portion of a date, right? That's a date value, but it's not a complete date, right? Dates, they typically contain three different aspects or three different elements that make up the date. You've got the day of the month, you got the month, and you got the year. So we really got those three pieces. Now, depending on what region you live in, your dates may be formatted a little bit differently. Do you do day first? Do you do month first? What does your years look like? Right? There's lots of different ways to be able to format dates, but dates typically contain those three pieces of information. Now, let's say for our months here, maybe I'm going to be using this one spreadsheet for multiple years, right? We got 2019, at least as of recording this video. Maybe you're going to go into 2019, 2020, right? Or 2021, or maybe I'm going to do a previous year with 2018, or whatever it might be, right? So I want to denote which year this month belongs to. So I'm going to go up into my January, which is B3, and I'm just going to double click into that cell. Double click, enters into that cell, I can now edit it. So I'm going to say January hyphen 2016. That's it right there. I'm going to hit my tab key, hop out of that cell. Ooh, wait a minute. Two things just happened there. Did you see that? Let's try it again. I'm going to double click into C3 because I'm going to do the same thing for February. So I'm going to say hyphen 2016. Wait a minute. It's not 16 anymore. It's 2000. Man, I'm way off. All right, this should be 19, right? 2019. I'm going to hit my enter key. There we go. What just happened there? There was two little things, right? Let's get back in and fix this one. This one should be 19. Ooh, that's weird. Double click that cell. Now I got 1/1/2016. I want to change that to 19. Hit my enter key. We got January 19. What just happened there? Let's do for March, hyphen 2019. Catching it? So we're now working with a date value. And how do we know that? Well, a couple things happened. One, they're now right aligned. They are on the right-hand side of the cell. Remember that discussion? That's supposed to happen with numeric values. Well, you know what? Inside of Excel and most applications, dates are treated as numeric values. That's just the way it goes. They are numeric. You may have text in there like Jan, Feb, Mar, but underlining, they are numbers. Right? You saw when I double-clicked inside of there, you actually get a date format. Here I've got the day, month, year. Right? I go over into February, I give that one a double-click. Got the, month, day, year. I said day, month, year. So I've got month, day, year inside of there, 2019. So we've now got some date values. Okay. Underlining once again, and I can see this up above here inside of my formula bar, that we've actually got a date. It is right aligned, it is numeric, it's a date value, treats it as such, but underlining that is a date. Now, like I mentioned earlier, depending on what region you live in, your dates may be formatted differently. It's fine, however you want to format them. Now, if you do this, type in Jan hyphen 2019, hit your enter key, and it doesn't change it, I would take a look at your date settings or your date format. Now, what if I wanted to actually say 2019? Because right now it just says Jan 19. Is that January the 19th? Or is it January 2019? Right? I want that to be much clearer. So what I'm going to do here, and this is something we're going to get much more in depth into as we continue through and we start to get into the formatting section of this course, is I want to format these cells. So I'm going to highlight B3 to D3. I'm going to go to my Home tab, top of my screen, and I'm going to go into the number section. All right. Underneath number, we can currently see that it says custom. Typically, that'll say the general. If I go to any other cell out here, we'll see general inside of that box. There it is, general. Well, here, with that selected, I'm going to go up here to the little drop down, and we've got some default formatting options for us. We do have some dates. We got short date, long date. It's not really what I want. I'm going to scroll down. We got a whole bunch of other stuff inside of there. But down at the bottom, we have an option for more number formats. I'm going to go into more number formats. Here, underneath category, I'll grab date. And here I'm going to find, let's see, I want the month and year. So do we see one like that in there? Month and year. Let's see, then that's someone. I want the abbreviated month. That one's looking pretty good, but I had it the other way around, right? That's actually the day anyways. That's not what I want. Oh, here we go. All right, now we got March hyphen 12, but I wanted to say 2019, right? Do we have one like that in there? That's the full month. That one's got the day in there as well. I don't want the day. I don't see the one that I want inside of there. Right? They got lots of variations on it, but I want it to say Jan 2018, Feb 2018, right? I want that 2000 in there as well. So we do have some defaults that we can pick from, some preset date formats. But here, I'm going to go to custom. And let's see, do we have it in here? They got a bunch of default custom ones. So here's some dates. We got the month and the year. Nope, not seeing the one I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to where it says type. I'm going to wipe out what's in there. I'm just going to backspace or delete that out. And I'm going to put my own custom date format in there. So I want it to be 3-letter abbreviation month. So I'm going to do MMM. That's your month. You can even see a preview of it right there. Jan. Hyphen. YYYY. 2019. So we got 3 M's for the month. Hyphen. 4 Y's for the year. So we get the 4-digit year. I'll hit OK. And there we have it. Nice months. Got it spelled out to us. January 2019, February 2019, and so on. That was a few steps that we went through. Always feel free in any of the videos. You can always rewind. You can rewatch the videos. whatever you need to do. There's a few steps that we went through there. Or you can just leave it the way that you want. Or now, before we get into creating some formulas, there's something that I want to kind of recap. We've talked about it just a little bit and even just kind of in passing, but it's a very, very important concept as far as formulas are concerned. So let's make sure that we've nailed this one down, and I'm going to make it quick because we're going to talk about it again and again, but I want to get this up front, out of the way. That way formulas will go nice and smooth for us. All right, we're going to talk about cell references. The way that you reference a value or a location within your Excel worksheet. Here we go. All right, so we've got our spreadsheet started looking pretty good. Got the basic structure, got labels, got some numeric values in there, got some dates. Looking good. Now I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. If I hold down